Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the Magicshine Allty 1500S LED bike headlight. The new Allty 1500S that we have here is one of the latest additions to the Allty lineup, and it updates the Allty 1500 with a bunch of new exciting features. Packaging wise, you can see very simple. You just have a cardboard box, a nice black print with the orange coloring that matches the Magicshine logo, and then this nice glossy representation of the headlight. You have basic specs printed on the back, and then this nice rigid cardboard design that almost feels like a cell phone design. So you can see the top slides out. If we go ahead and open this up, we'll go over the specs. Retail price on this was $109.99, so still pretty affordable. You get 1500 lumens of output, just like the product name would suggest. You have a removable 5000 milliamp battery, which is really cool. So it's a cartridge style battery that lets you actually replace it or upgrade it if needed. You get a wireless remote, which is really similar to the Montier wireless remotes. And then you have the OLED screen, which lets you actually see the current battery status directly on here. It also is customizable by the Magicshine app, so you can rearrange the modes, adjust the brightness, and even switch the order. So pretty cool features here. As far as what comes with the light, if we open up the box, you have this nice foam cutout, and then a little hidden compartment underneath. You get the handlebar mount. So this is their standard strap and bolt design. It's one of the mounts I don't really like, as you have a bolt, so you have to make sure you line that up, and it does require a tool the first time you install it. USB Type-C charging cable, which is really nice to see, so very modern interface. You can reuse your other cables. Instruction manual. 3 additional different length straps, so this will handle everything from an aero bar to a mountain biking bar to a commuting bar, so you can easily swap that out here. You get that Allen key for the first installation. Then we have the wireless remote. So 2-button design, and it uses a simple Velcro strap to attach it to your handlebars. Now let's take a look at the weight of the headlight. So the headlight by itself, that comes in at 153 grams. The wireless remote with a little Velcro strap, they're both pretty light, so it comes in at only 18 grams. And then the handlebar mount with the shorter default strap, that is 16 grams. The Magicshine Allty 1500S takes the previous Allty 1500 to the next level with multiple hardware and software upgrades. Visually, the light retains that elongated rectangular design that the Allty lights had before. It has a nice metal top body, so this helps dissipate some of the heat with little heat fins here. And then a separate plastic piece underneath it. Basic branding here with Magicshine on top, and then Allty 1500S. This has a dual lighting design, so you have a focused LED on the bottom of this, and then a DRL on top, which you can see is this cob LED strip that is horizontal. So what this means is you get nice daytime visibility with that top light, and then you have to have different flash modes or turn off the bottom entirely. You can also see, because of the dual element design, this whole front section actually extends downward a little bit, so it protrudes underneath the mount. So it gives it this unique appearance. You can also see that you have this raised lens, so it actually protrudes a little bit, and that gives you side visibility. So even from side angles, you can still see the light. In terms of the optics of the light, you can see very simple. You just have a cone beam, so nothing fancy here, no beam cutoff, and no diffusers. The really cool thing about this light, though, is you finally have the removable battery. So you can see on the back, there's this little tab. If I push down on that and then push forward against the lip, you can see this whole thing will slide out. So this is a 21700 battery, which is 5000 milliamp capacity. So you have a battery cell on the inside, and then they wrapped it around with the charging port and then the interface with the light. So it's not as versatile as a standard battery cell, which you can just swap in. You still have to buy this for Magicshine. But once you have it, it's very nice, and as long as Magicshine keeps providing these, in a couple years, if this battery were to die, you can easily just swap it rather than buying an entire light. The charging port is also built into the tail of the battery, so you can see you can charge this whether it's installed or not installed on the light. So very simple and cool design. You have a very big rubber gasket too, so you can see nice and thick. And that ensures you won't get any water protrusion. Push it back in, it locks into place. Note, it is very hard to take this off as you don't have much leverage. And the first time you take out the battery is very hard. So you might want to use a tool to kind of get in there and give you a little bit more leverage. Underneath this, you have a standard Garmin quarter turn style mount. It's actually molded directly in the base. It's pretty simple, so it's quarter turn. So you just rotate and it locks. It has these two raised tabs with the corresponding slots on the mount. So very common mount style. You can use the handlebar mount that's included. Not our favorite because it has this bolt design and requires a tool to install and uninstall. Instead, I'd recommend getting an out front mount. Magicshine has plastic and metal variations. So you can see same puck with the raised grooves. So you rotate it in and then you can place the light right in front. This is also a non-directional light, which means you can place it upside down and not have any issues with that, as it just has a simple cone beam. It does place the button on the bottom, which is one downside, but it does keep it out of the way. You can put your computer right on top. The other cool thing about this is the OLED screen. Unfortunately on camera, it's all flickery, so you can't really see what I'm seeing here, but you get the battery status on top, percentage battery remaining, and then after a few seconds, it will go to the actual time remaining. So very cool, and then on the bottom, it tells you the lumen count. So as I switch the modes, it'll actually update. And because you have the screen, it's a lot less confusing. So you know exactly how much battery you have left. You don't have to interpret colors. And you can also see some of the other features like the lock. Instead of being confused of why is the light not turning on, you can see if I lock the computer by holding, I lock the light by holding it for 3 seconds. It'll actually show a lock icon. So that's a really nice feature. And now I can lock it for transportation and I know exactly why it's not turning on. If you do a 3-second hold again, it will unlock it. The user interface is also very simple. You have this nice rubber button underneath it. So it is not backlit again because you have all the battery status on the screen. A hold turns the light on and off. That 3-second hold turns the lock mode on and off. And you can see if I do the long hold again, it's unlocked. Now if I do a little bit of a hold, it'll turn on. You have 5 different modes from the factory, so a single press cycles through them. They've separated the flash and then the constant modes, which is really nice. So if you're riding, you can switch the intensities without hitting flash. A double press goes to the flash modes. And then a single press within the flash mode, switch between the 2 options. And then double press again to go back to normal modes. So pretty simple and easy to use. You can also use the app to enable the sleep mode as well as the smart mode. In smart mode, the bottom LED is shut off during the day based on an ambient light sensor. And then the sleep mode will use a motion sensor to turn this off after 5 minutes of non-use. The Allty 1500S has 5 modes to choose from. You have 3 constant modes, low, medium, and high. And you can see the run times correspondingly adjust as you go higher in the output. High gives you the full 1500 lumen with 3.5-hour runtime. There are 2 flash modes, a slow flash, which is 500 lumens to 0, and then the quick flash, which is the same, but gives you 31 hours of runtime. During the daytime here, you can see the smart mode where you only have the DRL. It's not particularly bright, but it keeps you visible and it's great for urban settings. Here you can see some riding footage. The beam has a nice standard cone style optic, so you can see nice sharp hot center in the middle and then on a wide beam. On the camera it looks a lot darker than it really is, but in the full 1500 mode it's a very bright light. You can see it does have no anti-glare design, so you will blind people coming against you, so you want to be careful with that. But otherwise really easy to use, and I really like the screen on here. You never have to guess how much battery you have. It's always there, so you just peek over and you can look at it. So a really nice feature and very easy to use. We found the medium mode to be pretty good for most instances, while the high mode is great for the really dark stretches of road if you're going a lot faster. You can also fully customize this using the app, which is a nice feature. Now let's take a look at the Magicshine app. With this app, you can actually customize the light output modes and then enable the sleep mode or the smart mode. Now the app is pretty clumsy, which is why it has such a low rating on the App Store. So you can see at the left side you have 4 options: My Device, Scene, Version Upgrade, and Contact Us. As you can see, the capitalization is kind of all over the place, and the UI structure is very weird. So once you go to My Devices, you'll see the light with this kind of coating. You click that, and then you can see it says Allty 1500S here. Shows the temperature, which is a little bit strange. The light's not even on, and then the battery status as high. says scene 1. Scene 1 is really profile 1, and right now with nothing on here, it defaults to the factory 5 modes. So you have low, medium, high, and then the 2 flash modes. Here I can click add, and you can see it actually jumps to these little UI. So now I can adjust the brightness, which is really cool. So a nice, simple rotational design. You can adjust the brightness and then set the mode. You have constant and SOS flash mode. You have flash. And then the other icon, which is a little bit confusing, is a quick flash. So you can see a little bit different, but you can customize which one you want. You can't actually set the speed of the flashes. You can just set the mode and then the brightness. Then you can add another mode, which is called a level. So really it should be profile and then mode options. And then you can set whatever you want. What I found is once you set these modes, the double click gets a little bit weird, so you don't get that 2 menu option. Now you have a flat menu. So you can see you get a basic summary of each case, and then you can add as many as you want. If you don't like it, you actually have to expand it and then press delete. You can also create multiple scenes or profiles, which is kind of a cool feature. So if you had a urban setting or a mountain biking setting, you could set that up here. With this light, it really doesn't make that much sense as you only have a single LED, but if you have multiple LEDs, it does make sense. But again, the UI is just a little bit odd to figure out how to add the device or scenes. It's not that obvious. You have to go to scene and then add scene. Then you can set up, say, mountain biking. And then there's really no confirm. You just have to press back. And now I have another scene. And it's not very obvious even how to enable it. So you have to hold it, and that's a delete. But anyway, it's very confusing. There's really no reason to use that too much. I would say really the main purpose of this one is to set up the smart mode, which is this checkbox here. And then the motion sensor. So that's sleep mode. So you can see with the smart mode, it'll actually disable the bottom LED and you'll just get the DRL. With the motion one, it'll turn off after 5 minutes. So 2 kind of cool features. I do recommend using the smart mode if you want to just keep the DRL for daytime. And otherwise, the sleep mode is nice, but it's easier just to turn it off. Now let's compare the Allty 1500S with other lights on the market. We actually have its bigger brother, the Allty 2000. So you can see very similar light. This one is larger because it has 2 LEDs and it produces 2000 lumens of output. But otherwise very similar form factors. You have the protruding body, the cartridge style battery. With this one, it actually is a little bit thinner, but you can see it's much bigger and it has a locking mechanism rather than the single button slide out design. So it does mean you need a tool to take it in and out, but it's probably a little bit easier to take on and off rather than trying to get your finger in here. Otherwise, really simple design, and it's nice to see a more affordable variation of this light with 1500 lumen output. Within the Allty series, you actually have a lot of options. Here we have their little Allty 400. So you can see almost identical, same lens, no DRL, you just have the one LED. And you can see Garmin style mount and very compact as it only has 400 lumens. You can also get beam cutoff variations that are very simple or similar looking. You have the ZX Pro here. So this actually has an anti-glare lens. So you can see when it's underneath there, you don't see anything, and you have this beam cutoff. So it is directional and it won't cause glare, but very limited in output as it's not nearly as bright as the 1500 lumen options due to the FTVZO restrictions. But same body with an internal battery rather than removable. The higher output variations is the RN 1500. For whatever reason, they're not called the Allty, even though they look very similar. This is the really cool colored options. So you can see this one's anodized red, simple single button interface and single LED. So you don't get the cartridge or the DRL. So what I really like about the 1500S is you get the DRL of the Allty 2000, but at a more affordable price point. There are other lights on the market. We have the Trek Commuter Pro. So similarly priced as well, but this has a beam cutoff. So you can see the lens here has the LED on top with this big reflector. You can actually control a taillight as well. So you can control the Bontrager taillights. So you can turn them on and off at the same time, but no screen. And a little bit simpler design with a different mount. So we do like the fact that Magicshine uses Garmin, and it's very generic. When it comes to removable batteries, Fenix is probably one of the best lights out there because they simply reuse their flashlight design, and you have a spring-loaded tail cap with the battery right on the outside. So very simple, and because this uses a generic cell, you can go to the store, buy this, and then swap it in rather than the specific cartridge, which requires you to go to Magicshine. So that's one downside of using the cartridge rather than more generic cell, but lets them actually have more control over it. Relight also has the Lux, so this also has a tail cap design. So if I take this out, you can see same thing. It has a little battery cell 18650 that simply goes into place with a very simple single button interface and LED design. So both of these are more like flashlights, while these have a little more bike specific features. The Knog blinder is also an interesting option. So this is a blinder 900. You have 4 LEDs rather than the one with the DRL. So a little bit different beam style, but integrated battery, no OLED screen. So the nice thing about Magicshine is you get a lot of cool features you don't typically get with the bike light. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the Allty 1500S. What we like about it is you have a DRL light. It's a nice feature that always keeps you visible during the day or night. You also have a removable lithium-ion cartridge-style battery, which is a really nice feature, so you can carry 2 batteries if you're riding really far, or you could always replace it if you have a damaged battery. You also have an intuitive and crisp OLED screen, so you don't really have to guess how much battery you have. You can always just look down, and you can see the estimated remaining time, the lumen count for your current mode, and the battery status. The main cons for this light is the fact that you have a very confusing app. In fact, I wouldn't really recommend using the app at all. The default modes are more than sufficient. It's also difficult to remove that cartridge battery. There's not a lot of leverage, just a little bit of a tab and a raised section. So the first time you take it out, it can be very difficult. Taking everything into account, we give the light a 9.3 out of 10. It's a full featured headlight. You get USB Type-C, removable battery, and an OLED screen. The only thing you're really missing here is a nice beam cutoff. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclists. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.